wizard, Harry.
Alright guys, and we're back with another 1/6 scale figure unboxing, and this time this happens to be one of my most anticipated figures coming into the collection, and that being the Harry Potter from the Sorcerer's Stone, or depending where you're from, the Philosopher's Stone. If you are new here and you're as mad as I am about collecting, go ahead, head down and smash that like button, and while you're down there, beat up the subscribe button, as I do have a goal of 5,000 subs right here on the channel. So without further ado, let's dive in to Harry Potter himself. Okay, so I have to unbox this thing facing this way for now because it's just so big to do on my table. Starting off with this reflective, and I mean very reflective, slipcover. Like, it's actually hard to film with because you can just see everything in it. You have Harry Potter in the front, a cutout for the Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone there on the bottom. On the side you have some Gryffindor colors, and then if you pull this slipcover off, personally this is my favorite look for the box. You have a whole bunch of different engravings here. That reflective holographic image right there on the front actually has Harry Potter's face in it. Again, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The InArt logo on the side, Harry Potter InArt 1/6 scale collectible figure. On the back, an image of Harry Potter himself, InArt 1/6 scale collectible figure. This is the premium edition, so you do get that crazy base, and we have the rooted hair, Harry Potter on the side, and again the front. Okay, so now we're gonna attempt to open this thing. It is on a magnetic flap that opens up just like this. There is nothing on the inside here, and we are automatically greeted with this operations guide to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. We next have an instructions guide here on how to mount the owl. Looks like a little bit of the body, nothing on the back, and then another card that is in a language I don't understand. So if you're watching this and you understand this, please let me know down in the comments below. Opening up this packaging here on camera. Let's see all the goodies. There's a bunch of stuff in here. So far this unboxing experience is really cool. It looks like we got a Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Looks like a ticket stub. It's the 1/6 scale collectible figure. I guess that's the model number. And then the release date and the time it released. That's actually pretty cool. The operations guide, as I said, which is a very, so far, detailed looking book. I mean, this is the accessory and accessory display log, everything that comes with it. You're definitely not going to get anything like this out of Hot Toys. I'll just say that. So far, for this being my first InArt figure, I'm really impressed with this. Now let's see what's in the goodie envelope here. Trying not to rip it. A pamphlet of some sort. Happens to be a letter from InArt, and to everyone who supported InArt, if you would like to read this, feel free to go ahead and pause the video. As I take off this top phone cover, I just want to say a massive shout out to Jeremy Casa, aka Plastic Hero Collectibles, for getting me this set so early. Thank you so much, dude. If you guys have not heard of his stuff before, go ahead to the Facebook page, check it out, let him know I sent you. Wow. Already getting crazy stuff right here in front of me, all wrapped in plastic. So we're gonna get all this stuff out here. I just want to hold the body real quick. Feels pretty solid in hand, and the joints too. Let's get them out this plastic here. Wow. First hand impressions are incredible. The tailoring is just as good as the photos make it. Guys, we're going to get all this stuff out here. Take a look at the accessories. Take a look at Potter.
Saint Potter.
And then we'll discuss all of it. Okay, guys, here is everything Harry Potter comes with. And if you get the premium edition, I do mean you get everything in the kitchen sink. Like, this put the biggest smile on my face opening all of this, seeing everything up close with my own eyes. So hopefully you guys can get a good idea of the level of detail that has gone into this set, because it's incredible, and just looking at it all is overwhelming. But we are going to start off. Hope you're strapped in, because this segment might take a little bit. Starting off with Hedwig's cage. This piece, really cool, actually metal, has some solid weight to it. The cage does open. Hedwig can be pegged on there. You can see on top of the gold there, he can be pegged and sit inside the cage. Speaking of Hedwig, we do have Hedwig himself, and he is gorgeously painted. Those eyes are very reflective, and they kind of do follow you like an owl's eyes would. You can see on the bottom he has the two pegs, because he can be pegged on Harry, he can be pegged on the display base, and he can be pegged with his cage. I'm saying pegged a lot, but technically that's what he does. He is completely sculpted, he's not flocked, and the feathers are individually like nicely sculpted, so you can make out what would be feathers or whatever. There's no articulation, as I said, but he does look really good at the same time. Next up, we have a tiny accessory here, and this is Harry Potter's glasses, I believe, so he can hold them in his hand. What's weird and funny enough is that glasses actually come on the head sculpt, and you'll see that when we unbox that. So I'm unsure why they included separate ones, maybe like I said, to hold it or whatever. But they do feel super fragile. They're plasticky, a little bit of pliable. I would be careful with these. Next up, we get this lantern, and the glass effect on this is kind of smoky, like a fire's actually been lit. And if you're able to see inside, there is a little flame that is balanced on this bar that wiggles back and forth like a flame is flickering, and I think that's actually really cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't light up. My apologies, I was wrong on two accessories. On this one, it does light up, and I should have known better. If you read the instructions, it tells you what to do, and I really should have known that InArt obviously would pay this level of attention to detail. You pretty much unscrew this, twist it, pop it in, and you have yourself a light up effect. And now you can see that flame in there that wiggles back and forth if he's holding it. Looks really, really cool. Good attention to detail. Again, sorry I missed that. And then you just unplug that and you can twist it back to turn it off. I don't know how long this will last, and I don't know if you can replace the battery. It's something I'll have to look into. But it is painted very, very nicely, and it can dangle in his hand. Harry Potter can hold this. Nothing on the bottom. Nice paint apps again. Looks metallic, and you can see all the weathering all around it. This is a really nice piece. Next up, InArt was gracious enough to bless us with some wrist pegs, because you do get a bunch of hands that he will swap out. So unlike other releases that I've seen from InArt, they have magnetic joints. This one really does not. He just has pegs like a standard 6-scale figure would. He has a couple holding hands for holding like books or pieces of paper, holding that lantern, as I said, posing with Hedwig, like his arms out. So you get a bunch of different gesturing and holding hands. Thumbs out hand if you wanted this to be too. Hands to hold the chocolate frogs. Hands to hold the wand in. So these look really nice. And maybe holding the broomstick and stuff like that. So each one is nicely detailed and painted. You can see some skin texturing and speckling of the skin. You can see the knuckle and bone structure and even some vein work in there. So they did a really, really good job at painting these. Along with the painted hands, you also get his winter gloved hand. Weirdly enough, though, there's not as many of these hands as there is the other one, but that's okay because I don't think I'll have him in this look that much anyway. But again, you have like your wand holding hand, some open hands. They didn't really have that for his regular hands, and then a fisted hand, which also didn't come with the skin hands, and you only get one. Don't know why, but you do. These again are nicely painted to look like fabric, like actual gloves. They have the line work in there. You can see like as if they were stitched, and wrinkling in there to give it that form texture, like if he was actually bending his fingers. And so I really like this touch as well. Good job on InArt. Now you can't have Harry Potter, of course, without his magic wand. This is made out of plastic. It's nicely painted. It is a little pliable, so I would be careful not to break this, as you could easily do so. It's super thin, but at the same time it's detailed, and I really, really like this. And then because you get his wand, you get another cool feature, and that being the Ollivander's box. So you get the wand box. If you wanted to put Harry's wand in there, has a little piece of foam pattern in there. You get the logo in the front, and it is made out of a nice cardstock. This was really, really cool to see that this was included. Something of this level of detail is what us collectors love. Next up, we have the box that houses chocolate frogs and the card stocks that you would get with them if you purchased one of these. This one looks like it has Dumbledore on the front of it, as you can see, and on the back it has some writing, which is kind of small for me to read. If you zoom in, maybe you'd be able to read it. From here, it looks like Professor Dumbledore, but if it's not, let me know down below. And then going back over to this box, it's really cool because it does open up. So if you wanted to display it open, you could. And then, of course, you do get 3 chocolate frogs, and they can be placed inside of it and closed just a little bit. Not too much, but it's for display purposes. So you get the point there. As I said, you get 3 of them, 3 chocolate little frogs. They're each doing different things. I would probably put the one that's sitting the lowest inside the box, as maybe it'll close that way. It didn't with the other one, but I like that they're in 3 different poses, so it's not just the same thing over and over. That's a really nice attention to detail. Next up on the list, we have Harry Potter's train ticket to the Hogwarts Express. He can get on the train. It says platform 9 3/4. You do get the letter that was sent to his house with the Hogwarts letter, and you can see the school stamp as well as the wax seal on the front there. Really nice attention to detail. We have Harry's acceptance letter with, of course, the school emblem, the crest right up on top, and then we have Harry's like supply list of what he needs to attend Hogwarts as well. It tells you everything. Again, the crest right there up at the top. Each of these papers also have a little bit of weathering on them, as if they're kind of beat up, old, like they're not just plain white paper, and I really like the way this looks. Of course, this wouldn't be the Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone without the Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone itself. You can see the little baggie and some rope that would hold this. It is tied up. I don't know if there's anything in it. I don't want to undo it. And then, of course, you get the little red stone itself right here, and it is painted in a nice translucent red plastic with some black accents going in it. Light passes through it very nicely, and I really, really enjoy this accessory. Now, because Harry has a winter look, he has to have more winter clothes. This is a cape that would go around him to keep him even more warm. Again, the Gryffindor logo, school crescent right there on the front. It is a nice patch that seems to maybe be glued on, but then when you look at the back, it looks like it's stitched on. So it's got really, really good detail in it as well. To go with the winter outfit, we do then get the Gryffindor scarf. It has the colors of the house, which is really nice. This is a really, really soft fabric. Tassels at the end, really cool. And you can wrap this around Harry's neck if you so wanted to. Of course, if you attend Hogwarts, you kind of have to learn how to use a broomstick or learn how to fly, and therefore you'll get the broomstick that they were taught on how to fly. If you remember, they were saying like up and it came into their hands. So this isn't like the Nimbus 2000 or the Firebolt, which was later on, but anyways, you get the point. This is just the basic broomstick. This part seems to be made out of a plastic, but it is painted very nicely to look like a wood grain texture. It has some chipping in it as if the wood was chipped away. However, this part at the top is actual bristles to like a broom, so you could do some dusting with it if you wanted. I won't be doing that, but hey, when you get yours, you can do whatever you want with it. And then these bands here are actually metal. They are cold to the touch, and that makes this thing feel that much more authentic. Originally, when I first saw this, I thought that the sorting hat was going to be fabric. However, I was wrong. It is a sculpted plastic, and that should just tell you how good this thing actually looks. You can make out the image of his face, and this is basically the hat that sorts them into which house they're going to go. If you remember, when it was put onto Harry's head, he did not want to be a part of Slytherin and ultimately was placed in Gryffindor with his other two buddies, Ron and Hermione. That's foreshadowing to the trio, the golden trio, that eventually will be in this collection as well. So if you want to see those figures, stay tuned. Again, subscribe because they are coming. And just going back to him, you can see this part is fabric. This part back here is fabric. The tassels in the back are fabric, and then the rest is just sculpted plastic. This little plastic piece down here is just a peg for Harry's arm for Hedwig to be pegged on. Now we all know you can't attend Hogwarts if you don't have any books, and let me tell you, he comes with a bunch of different books, and they're not just any regular books. I mean, actually this one has nothing in it, so this one is a regular book, but you can see all the print all on the back, the nice detail on the side, the binding. It just looks like an actual book in 1/6 scale. But when you get into some of these actually like magic books, like this is a magic theory book, you can start to see like each page is individually different with some type of writing and font. And guys, the amount of time it would take to do that is just awesome. They didn't have to fill these pages with individual things, and InArt did. That just shows how much they care. And yet, once again, on this magical drafts and potions, again, just has a bunch of detailed stuff and spells all within the pages in this little miniature book. Super, super incredible. Now this fourth one isn't really a book per se, but more of like a photo album of Harry and his parents. You can see right there on the front when he was a little baby, and then the rest of the pages are blank, like it's supposed to leave room for a filled photo album. You can see the initials of his parents right there on the left and the right, and yeah, it's the only thing in here. The other thing I was wrong about is obviously we know this photograph is in here, and you can see it moves as you move it. My wife pointed this out to me, but I thought there was nothing else in here. However, there is a different image on the back, and again it moves. It's holographic, but it's of the trio Hermione, Harry, and Ron. Really, really cool. Big thanks to my wife for pointing that out. Again, nicely sculpted, feels awesome in actual materials used. Really, really neat. And now the big display piece of how you can display Harry Potter. We're gonna go over this part as it kind of has three different options. So you can have it like this with this base on top of it, and I'll show that later. Or you can take this off and have just this base, and you can see Harry Potter on the front there. Nothing really on the side, but you do have some detail all the way around. It is nicely sculpted to look like cobblestone or something, or some type of stonework. It's engraved, and I really love this piece, how it's kind of fits flush with the design of this, like a puzzle piece, because this middle piece does come out. And you can also display this as just the base if you didn't want this huge diorama in your collection. Why you bought this set to do that, I don't know, but they give you the option, and I love that you have the choice to do so. Image of the Gryffindor crest right there on the front. Love that. Nicely engraved. Again, if you wanted to display this, you could, because Harry Potter is on the front of this as well. Nothing on the sides. And then on the bottom, it just has some information about like the figure, just like the standard base does. It's a 1/6 scale figure. It's InArt. But if you take this off, you can see the magnetic workings underneath, and you can actually move these to where you can put Harry's feet. So if you wanted him in the back of the base, slide it down, he could be in the back of the base. If you wanted his feet staggered, you could absolutely do so. And so that's pretty cool that InArt did this. Now let's get to this big diorama display that would be the background for Harry Potter, and that being looking like it's inside the Hogwarts castle. I thought this was all sculpted when I saw the pics. It is not. It is like a, not velvet material, but it is a fabric wall, as if it was like laid down and glued, like, or put there by like a carpenter or something like that. Like, I'm sure the school wall actually had that, and so that's really, really neat and cool. So when I got to hold it, it really took me by surprise. You got some sculpted steps looking like they're going into the castle, kind of staggered, like it's got some dimension to it. Some sculpted plastic here for the windows. However, when I flip it over, I feel like these, when I touched it, actually feel like real glass. So this could actually be real windows, guys, and that's super cool. All the brick texturing all along the side has some really neat weathering going on. It's got dirt and grime all over in the cracks of the bricks. Stones look a little bit broken and roughed up, and this just looks really, really real to me. And I'm super happy with the final product. Another thing I love about this base is that it's diverse, meaning that you can take pieces from it like this and install other ones, and Hedwig can be displayed on it. So you can display them on this side, or you can display them on this side, and that's pretty cool. If you did not want him on Harry, these just magnetically attach back onto the display piece itself. So here we have the head sculpt for Harry Potter, the moment we've all been waiting for. It does come in this acrylic case so that the head sculpt doesn't get messed up in transition. It is just sitting on a peg, and that way the hair doesn't get messed up either. InArt stamp right there on the bottom, nothing on top, and this just basically pops off, and then you can reach in and start taking out the foam. The bottom comes out as well, and then there you have the sculpt sitting right there on top, and it's actually nicely pegged on there, guys. Wow. First impressions, that definitely looks like Daniel Radcliffe to me as a young kid. So here we have the head sculpt for Harry Potter, the moment we've all been waiting for. It does come in this acrylic case so that you don't mess the head sculpt up, so that the head sculpt doesn't get messed up in transition. It is just sitting on a peg, and that way the hair doesn't get messed up either. InArt stamp right there on the bottom, nothing on top, and this just basically pops off, and then you can reach in and start taking out the foam. And I guess I can just reach my hand in there, right? Okay, so the bottom comes out as well, and then there you have the sculpt sitting right there on top, and it's actually nicely pegged on there, guys. Wow. First impressions, that definitely looks like Daniel Radcliffe to me as a young kid. Alright, guys, so here we have the head sculpt on the body. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. That hair is spot on. I'm so glad I went with the rooted, because if you didn't know, if you got the sculpted, you're not going to be able to see that scar under his forehead. Going over this outfit, you got the Gryffindor house crest right there on the front. His robe, it goes all the way down. It is wired at the bottom for posing. While we're down here for some tread, you can see some logos down there. Can't really make them out. Nice tread on these shoes and boots. Sculpted plastic for the laces. The pants are a nice fabric, and they seem to be tailored very, very nicely. Just unbuttoning this, it is actually buttons, as you can see the loophole. So you have to be very meticulous and like use maybe some tweezers just to put that back on. It was a little difficult to get off, but I guess that's cool because it offers that realism. Again, we have some wiring down here for the sleeves to make it look like it's blowing in the wind, and I think that's a nice attention to detail as well. We're going to go ahead and take this robe off so we can see more of the outfit. And here we have him in this nice sweater vest with the Gryffindor colors. We have his Gryffindor tie there. It can be adjusted, so I've heard, and that's really, really cool. It is just a plain button-up shirt there. No belt on the trousers, and you can see the tie is tucked down there into his pants. And we do have some 1/6 scale socks as well. Really nice attention to detail. As far as posability goes, his head will go up and down, look side to side. It is on a fixed neck, which personally to me, I always love that, as you guys have heard me say, because it brings that much more attention to realism. His arms will go out that far. They will come forward, go back. Very sturdy, double bended on the elbow. That just gets you past 90. It does have a swivel. We got, weirdly, not much crunch. This feels like not like a body I'm used to. He's like very stiff in the side and rotates more down here. So he does go forward and back a little bit, pivot side to side, and then his legs will go out that far, not back much. He doesn't do the split, so he won't go out that far. And then he has almost a double jointed knee, gets you a little bit past 90, and then a standard, seems like a ball peg for the ankle. Just wrapping up on Harry Potter from InArt, and guys, I can honestly say I'm about blown away with what InArt has done with this figure. I mean, for such a small figure, to say the least, he's just so incredibly detailed, all the way from those little pages to Ollivander's wand to even the glasses on his face and that rooted hair. Each stitch line that's in the fabric of these clothes. I'm sounding like a real fanboy, but I've just fallen in love with what they've done here. Now, I know this is my first figure by them, and I'm so glad that I'm blown away, that it gives me high hopes for future releases for them. I just have nothing bad to say at this moment. The body, I mean, I will say that could be a little bit better to me, just based on what I've gotten from Hot Toys, as there's no ratchets in here, so I don't know how it's going to hold up over time, but for now, it seems to be really, really good, and I'm digging the poses that I can do with him. And like I said, when you get some of the stuff that they do with the seamless neck and that rooted hair, it just brings this figure to life, and I see Daniel Radcliffe at all angles. But that'll do it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this one as much as I did creating it, go ahead and subscribe. Also hit the like button. Comment down below what you think of this figure. Are you picking up Harry Potter, or is he already in your collection? Let me know. I love chatting with you guys. As always, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.